I think I have music or sound. Maybe I should check. Oh, Skull Clamp. Magic the Gathering card. Twitch.tv.
What about the reasons?
No. Hello, Dream Cartographer. I'm just trying to. Oh no, I'm just trying to make sure I can hear everything. Man, streaming is like super confusing. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm checking through all the games to make sure I download the ones that need to be downloaded. Okay, this needs to 7-zip. What? It's a 7-zip file? I have not seen that yet. Let's see, okay, this one can be played in browser. This one cannot. Is this one a browser? It is a browser. Is this one a browser? No. Whoa, am I supposed to? Huh. Interesting. Does that mean I'm supposed to download the game and start the MP3 at like the same time? That'd be interesting. Monochrome. Yes, of course. I'm on a Windows machine. We're getting there. I just figured I'd start the stream now so that, and then we'll get to bunker hoppers later. I figured I'd start the stream now so you can see my process. The true process by which the magic gets made. There's one thing I wanted to test. Oh shit. I forgot to change the goddamn stream info. I'm going to mute my microphone for just a second. Audio input capture. Put capture on. Sunless Sea looking funny? Yeah, it definitely does look funny when, let's make this correct. Okay. Sunless Sea definitely does look funny when I'm not going to be playing it even remotely. Not today. Today is streaming the narrative game jams from Narrative Game Jam number 2, sponsored by WJG Games. Sponsored by me, the only person who does it. We got 50 ratings. 50. How cool is that? That's great. I haven't played one of these games yet because I started this like after WJG Game Jam number 1. WJG, if it were in German. My dog's bothering people. After doing the first narrative game jam, I didn't play any of the games. I went in blind because I got the impression that people wanted me to do that. And it was awesome. It was super cool. I was like, I loved going in blind. It made the stream much more clip worthy, I would say. Like, it's just, people would get to kind of see my first reaction to a game, which I think is actually probably a better thing to experience than like my really dialed in, well thought out interpretation of it, right? Because I think the more you think about fiction, the more it gets destroyed, and kind of seeing somebody's first reaction to it is better, in some ways, right? Like, you guys get to see kind of just how I how I interact with it and how I think about it. Yeah, also seeing your speculations on of what happens next. Yeah, right. Yeah, like predictions and yeah, like seeing, because in some ways it can lead you to understand, well, maybe there's, maybe my narrative is too predictable. If it's too easy for him to see what's going to happen, or maybe he doesn't see what's going to happen, maybe he interpreted something incorrectly, right? And so in that regard, I actually think it's quite beneficial for me to go in blind, even though I wish I could vote on them. But I also don't know if it would be good for me to vote on them. You know what I mean? Like if I'm voting on them, it's almost like I'm kind of saying, yeah, your guys' votes are important, but my vote is the one that is the only valuable one, right? Like this was the one I voted to be the most compelling narrative. I mean, I guess it just depends on how you handle it, but I don't know. Anyway, we should get going. So what I'm thinking is, oh God, really? Seriously? Like right as my wife left the room. 1 second. I don't want to get... Oh shit. I'm going to get TOS violations from Apple. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So what I'm thinking is, let's just go ahead and let's start with phony. Is Corbett here? Actually, that's kind of the other thing I want to make. I want to try and I want to stream for the people who are here so that they can see it. So I know Dream Cartographer's here. I'm not entirely sure who Ice Wizards is. If you submitted to the jam, let me know. Awesome Trinket is here. That's cool. I saw the Scream Mortality Game Jam do like a Game Jam Maker's Choice once or something, like just things that really scratch the itch in their brain. Toaster is here. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just want to make sure, like, I don't want to start with Insularum Raider, or I mean, excuse me, Erbium Raider. Oh, good old Caton. He always has the best names. These are iconic names. Erbium Raider and Insularum Raider. I will be lying on my deathbed with my non-existent children and non-existent grandchildren, and they'll be going, "What's the thing you remember from the 2020s?" And I'll say, Insularum Raider and Erbium Raider. Sorry, I just peaked the mic. Clipped the mic, I should say. It's a hot mic. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and Corbett Ash isn't here. I'm happy Two Links is here. I'm happy everybody's here. I'm happy Toaster's here and Awesome Trinket. And so since Awesome Trinket is here, let's just go ahead and do Awesome Trinkets. That way I don't have to at mention her. And I'm going to be very interested. I'm going to be pretty ruthless on the scene structure. I'm going to tell you if you did it wrong. Run interactive scene. Interesting. Okay. A scene about a girl who might not be so human. This was made for Wonder Yar Narrative Game Jam number 2. I managed to crank it out in 2 days with RPG Maker MV, so it's a lot less polished than I'd like it to be. I don't know how I don't know how one begets the other. Eye emoji. All right. Run interactive scene. Inhumanity. Continue. No, new game. Can you hear it? Oh, it's those those characters I've been seeing for like a year now. I'm excited to finally interact with them. Let's see. I am a human girl. I am completely normal. Definitely a human girl. Nothing is wrong with me. Okay, so she's lying. So the entering emotion of this scene is I'm not quite sure yet. I am Naomi. I have grieved and moved on, and there's nothing wrong with me. What is this emotion? What would you guys call this emotion? Who am I kidding? I don't even think even I believe that malarkey. E-commerce website. Game audio is audible. Denial. Okay, denial. All right. So she's in denial. So what are we expecting by the end of the scene? 2:34 a.m. I can't sleep. The hunger is just so loud in my stomach. I can barely focus on anything, much less sleep. Okay, so we had kind of like a rough transition from one scene to another scene because we didn't because that was almost like prologue information. So I don't think we could call that a scene because it's clear that she's now trying to establish that she's restless, right? So this is the entering emotion. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it right now. Everything's been so surreal since the accident, the hunger, the changes, having to live in an emptier house. Well, at least I don't have to deal with the nightmares right now. They're getting really annoying. It's always the same thing too, squealing tires, glass, metal crunching, waking up in the hospital. So restless, worried, yeah, these are all kind of in line. Can't my brain be original for once instead of re-traumatizing me every night? I should probably get something to eat. That'll pull me back to sleep. I know Mom made enough hot pot earlier for leftovers. I think there's a bit of an emotional overlap between the two. Yeah, it's possible. She has a really ominous face here. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go more with cynicism as the starting emotion. Yeah. I can hang out with the cynicism for a second. Part of the fun of scenes is that you get to, especially when you know that they exist, is that you get to kind of identify, you get to like guess, you get to play a game with the writer, right? Where you try to guess what the emotion is of the protagonist of the scene, and then by the end of the scene, you can see what the exiting emotion is, and then try and reinterpret the scene in that, like with this new information, right? So like if the character seems sad in the beginning and then they ended even sadder, you could say, well, were they sad or was there something else going on? Was there something else that I missed about the scene? And so you get to kind of more critically think about the scene as it goes on. And then if you can't find it and it's just they went from sad to sadder, then it's just a bad scene. Oh, hello, Baloo. And hello, Aoife. Let's see. Just got to bumble my way to the kitchen without tripping on anything. Right. It's an RPG Maker game. It's so quiet now. Lately, ever since I came back from the hospital, things have been way quieter in my house. Yeah, I did worry about just amplifying the starting emotion, but I think it's like a different emotion at the end. Fear, maybe, or horror. So it sounds like if she's going from cynicism to fear, then it's going to be not a big enough arc, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it ends up. I'm also seeing too much exposition material, which is interesting because this is something that I was expecting to see is people who I figured a lot of people were going to do this, which is write a scene that is actually a short story that's called a scene, because in a short story you don't really you jam in a bunch of information so that the entire story makes sense. Whereas in scenes, you can read them individually and emotionally they're going to affect you, but you're not always going to understand what's going on in the story, right? So it took me forever to figure out that you could click to move. After we had to sell the salon, Mom started taking just about any job she could just to keep us afloat. That included night shifts. I wish I could help her out in some way, but she says there's nothing I can do. That what happened isn't my fault. Right. I shouldn't be thinking about that right now. God. My dog tried to get a old bag of sunflower seeds. Yeah, the context issue is difficult to reconcile when you're trying to make a game. I mean, I think it's just difficult to reconcile with stories in general, right? Like I said, you probably weren't here for this stream cartographer, but last week or the week before last, when I announced what the stream was going to be, I expected scenes to be clunky because scenes are clunky, but but it's practice, right? The more you write scenes, the better you get at writing scenes, and the less clunky they become, right? And I think that writers misinterpret what they think the audience needs to know versus what the audience thinks what they need to know, right? Like it could be, you could have her say, that damn car, right? And I would get almost everything I needed to know about the previous situation that this character was in. Like if she just like if she woke up and it said gasp, that damned car, I know she woke up, I know she had a nightmare, and I know it was about a car, right? And that gives me almost all of the information that I need to know, and there's no background information that needs to be told here. Does that make sense? Oh, bathroom. Oh. The house is well made though. It's really cool. This is a door to Dad's office. He said he made sure to keep it closed to his and Mom's bedroom when they first bought the place. But it's locked now. We haven't really had the will to dust it off or anything. That's Mom's room. All her work stuff is in there. I probably shouldn't go in. I'll muck something up. Okay. You watched the VOD today? Let's see. 2:36 a.m. I like the time thing. It's actually really cool. So this is playing into the theme, I assume, right? I should probably turn on a light switch before I trip and fall on something. There's a switch here in the dining room. I can see it. It's right there. Haha. Arg, geez, my eyes. Small heads up. It's a lot easier to interact with stuff if you press the space bar while facing them instead of... Okay, sounds good. Thanks. I forgot how bright these light bulbs are. It's that classic anime thing. It's very interesting. That classic anime writing. It's like, wow, light is so bright. I forgot how bright light is. I'm not knocking it. I'm really not. I'm not making fun of it. I just find it fascinating that it's so common, right? I felt that to be the case. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Hot pot, fried rice, regular basmati rice, lo mein on the verge of expiring. To be fair, she's talking about the specific light bulbs here. Yeah, I mean, why? You know what I mean? I maybe there is a reason. It's something that I'm noting as I go along. Okay, so she seems a little bit happier, which is nice. Might as well get them all, I guess. It's better than having to get up again. Frankly, I'm shocked we even have leftovers, much less stuff on the verge of expiring. $2.40. I can't believe I ate that much. I didn't really even taste it. It just went down my gullet and in my stomach. Where's it all even going? I didn't used to be so hungry until after the accident. The doctor said I was perfectly fine, not even a single scratch on me. It just doesn't make sense. Oh. Smashing glass. Question mark. What was that? It came from upstairs. Well, we better go upstairs then. Oh, she's going up. It's probably fine. Something just fell upstairs or got knocked over by the wind or... I have to go fast. I have like 10 games to play. Shit. Damn it. There goes the lights. I was talking to my wife just then. Maybe it's fine. It's an old house after all. I'll check the light switch. So we'll go and check the light switch. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It must be the wind. Damn it. Power got knocked out. Well, I might as well go back to my room and hope the power comes back on in the morning. Ooh. Holy shit. What was that? Who was that? Am I dreaming? I have to be dreaming. I must be dreaming. I heard that in my head. This has to be a dream. I'm going to bed. I'll wake up and this will all be a dream. And if I'm lucky, everything after the accident will be a dream too. Yep, I agree. I hope so. 2:41. Ooh. That's actually creepy. That was actually creepy. That got me. This little thing right here, that was actually creepy. Cool. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Hey. Love emotion. You poor thing, dreaming of a time before your world came to an end, but unable to return to what once was. I like these little animations, like the walking back and it's cool. What should I do? What can I do? There's a woman in the house with me. It'll take... Oh, shit. Look over your human worry. Oh, why is it going so fast? Am I skipping? Ah. This is it. This is how I die. $2:42 a.m. Oh, I thought it was my heartbeat in my headphone. Yeah, that scared me too. It was good. It was good. This is a really fun thing and it's a really classic problem for journeyman riders. I'm not saying that. I'm actually saying this is a good this is good. Is that so journeyman riders or amateur riders will often say suddenly there was a monster, right? And the suddenly completely removes all the horror from there was a monster. It completely negates. It was like suddenly there was a monster for whatever reason. It just doesn't. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not scared now. But just having the monster be there is much scarier, right? And I liked that the monster wasn't looking at us. I liked that it was looking away because it meant that I couldn't get quite a good look at what it was. I mean, I'm calling it a monster because I don't know what else to call it, but ghost, whatever, gaki, I don't know. What got to me was that the room looks so different. The house actually changes, and that's super weird. I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. Suddenly, there's no one in here. It's just me. It's a lot sudden when we're alerted to the suddenness of the. I mean, yeah, if the monster is just there, then it's quite sudden, right? Um, it's way tough. I mean, in general, adverbs are tough. If for the most part, you can pretty much like right when you finish a piece of writing, you can hit Control H or Control F, search for ly, and remove every single word that ends in ly from a story, and it'll be a better story because it's lys are adverbs, and they almost always make things worse. They kill pacing. They make sentences clunky. They're just adverbs are just no good. Um, doesn't work if your main character's name is Lily though. Yeah, that makes the most sense. I've gone mad in my grief. The only thing that's wrong with me is that I'm insane. Why do you try to deny who you are? For so long, your potential has gone untapped. Now she's Lee. There's nothing wrong with me physically. I'm dreaming or insane. There are no voices in my head. Let me into your mind and your heart, Naomi, and once more you will finally live free. I am a human girl. I, Naomi Chunhua, I butchered it, Naomi. Am an ordinary human girl. I am not a monster. I have always been this hungry. I've always been starving for blood or meat or souls or something. But you know that you aren't. You and I both know that your real reflection will only show the truth. My reflection. There's a mirror in the bathroom. I gotta snap myself out of this somehow. Reflections and dreams are never right. Oh, I shouldn't go in. I like that line changed, by the way. Everything's fine. All I have to do is snap myself out of this. It's just me. I'm not dreaming. I'm just going insane. Or that woman was a trick of the light, or... Ah. You're not real. You can't be. Deny the truth all you want. You know in the end you'll have to face it, who you really are now. Get out of my head. Oh, Naomi, why do you continuously deny your true identity? You are so much better than an ordinary human now. I am a human girl. I open your wings. I'm not clicking, by the way. My what? Ah. No. This isn't real. This is a dream. It has to be. So from like cynicism to disbelief, maybe. My spine is burning from the inside out, like there are wings really coming from my body. The lights came back. I shouldn't be seeing things. I'm real. I'm human. I'm not a monster. I'm not a winged monster. Who, what am I really? That was great. That was awesome. That was so cool. For real. That was really, really cool. I think the closest thing that I could get to is like cynicism to disbelief, right? Like, I mean, because she goes from assured of herself to, and this is why I kind of have to cut that. Oh, come on, right now, really. This is why I have to kind of cut that little prologue off the front of it, because it feels not part of the scene, right? It feels kind of mood setting. I saw it as from denial to horror, Yeah, well, denial to horror just isn't quite strong enough, right? Like for me, because to me, what it seems like she is she's feeling like and once again, this is kind of just the way that how I'm trying to draw the arc in my mind, right? Is that she goes from um, denial doubtful. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could work, right? Is that she's like she's kind of cynically in denial, and then by the end, it's like she can't be like that last little line there, that last little sentence at the end that was like, "Who or what am I?" is enough for me to kind of say, okay, yeah, it is a scene, right? It is a scene, and it did have emotional change, right? I think it could probably be broken into two scenes though, and this is the reason why. So what you would want to do if you were to be writing in like branching this out to being a full length narrative is you would have her denial cynicism, and you kind of did a little bit because, and once again, this goes back to people intuit write stories better than they write them, but she's going from hungry to full, right? So she wakes up because she's hungry, she goes downstairs, she eats, now she's full. The classic writer who did this and is one of the most famous writers of all time is J.R.R. Tolkien, right? In Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, the three novel series is basically just the characters going from hungry to full, full to hungry, hungry to full, full to hungry, right? The whole books, all of them. And that's a classic way to construct a scene, right? She goes from hungry to full. Hungry is bad, full is good, right? And then so now she's full, she's satiated, although we have this kind of slight twist in it in that she's a vampire, so she's not satiated by food, but like she is full and content and ready to go back to sleep, and now she goes upstairs and whoop, there's a new problem, right? There's a new conflict. So in my mind, it's actually really two scenes in one scene, right? And it just needs, you can just let the two scenes breathe a little bit, and then they'll be two very good scenes. Hold on, do you mean metaphorically hungry in some context? What do you mean by metaphorically hungry? Like in reference to J.R.R. Tolkien. Also, I think I disagree with it's a scene where the main progression is more learning of information. I don't think that scene structure operates independently of information giving. Scene is emotion. That's all it is. It's going from one emotion to another emotion. The information that you dole out during that is has nothing to do with scene structure. As in reference to Tolkien. Yeah, right. Yeah, effectively, yeah. Metaphorically and literally, right? I mean, there's a lot of food in those books. There's a lot of food. There's a lot of meals and dinners and and running out of food, and there's a lot of that stuff in those books. But if you go back and you try to pay attention to it, the structures of those. Now, Tolkien, of course, was also a linguist, so he was spending half of his time making up a new language. So he wasn't like, I mean, they're don't get me wrong, Lord of the Rings are incredible stories. For me, they're a little bit boring to read because it's just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of exposition, right? And lots of singing. As in, does every moment in The Lord of the Rings begin with Frodo wanting some bread, including when he's throwing the ring? No, no, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that so Frodo in one scene wants some bread, so he goes and gets some bread, or somebody gives him bread at the end of the scene. Okay, he's full, right? Somebody has given him bread, he's full. The next scene, and like this is mostly in regards to like chapters, right? Because what I've said a couple of times is that novels have a scene arc, right? They have the exact same arc. They go from one emotion to another emotion. They go from Frodo, who is I never want to leave the Shire. Or no, I do want to leave the Shire. I want adventure in my life, right? By the end of the entire series, he's like, I want to go home and I never want to do this again, right? So he goes from I am desperate for adventure to I never want adventure again for as long as I live, right? And then we can break that down fractally into the 3 books. Each of those books is going to have their own separate arc, right? Each of the chapters within those books is going to have their own separate arc. And then each of the scenes within those chapters is also going to have a separate arc, right? And so what I'm meaning is that there are long stretches of these books in which they go from full and then gradually go to hungry, and then they go back up to full and then they go to hungry, right? And sometimes it's through the scene, sometimes it's over the course of a chapter, sometimes it's over the course of a book, right? But this is Tolkien kind of tying his themes together, right? And so it's not always the case that Frodo is literally like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, that's why I'm throwing the ring into the thing. It's just that this is how Tolkien built out his themes. And then, obviously, like all of Lord of the Rings is about satiation, right? It's about the satiation of power. It's about, anyway, we're getting too into the weeds here. I got to move on to the next game. But anyway, Inhumanity was pretty fun. I think it's 2 scenes. I think you can break them. You can separate them a little bit and then, and let the 2 scenes breathe a little bit more. But I do think that ultimately you achieved what I had hoped. And that one scene, or that one shot with the creepy character, was the best part. That was the standout part to me. Okay, who is next? Let's see. Let's welcome the newcomer. Hello, Dream Cartographer. Let's play Dawn. On his way to see his very first sunrise, a sentient blob of darkness comes across a mysterious old tower. What will he find there? A game by Dream Cartographer. Dawn. Let's see. Corvid told us on the Discord that he can't come to the stream because of a medical emergency, so maybe we should wait until the next time. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we'll play Corvid's next week. That works for me. Dawn. Little blob. Blob wants to see sunrise. Blob, I think, is happy. I'm already loving this, by the way. Yeah, sorry, Corbin. Question? Door building castle. If on top of castle, huh? Whoa. Hammer. It's like a slideshow adventure game. Happy anticipating? Okay, yeah. I mean, I got that kind of sense from the, like, raised eyes. Smash window. Go inside. Dark inside. Conflict. Fear. Trial. Here we go. So, entering emotion, happy. Introduction of the conflict. Creepy room. I love this. This is great. This is super cool. Window 7. Oh wait, X clock 7. Yeah, I am terrible at puzzle games. Oh shit. Writing 1. The world is coming closer to disaster every day. Each new morning brings the potential for tragedy. Indeed, I have been afflicted by it myself. But soon the world will come to a standstill. Never again will time march people to their doom. They shall be frozen in the moment, forever at peace. The machine will activate 10 minutes before sunrise. I want to remember her face in the light. Okay. Painting? Window? Letter. No matter how much darkness is in the world, it only takes one ray of light to pierce through it. No matter what, life will go on and the sun will rise again. Even if the ones you love aren't there to see it, there's still so much beauty to be seen. Let it shine into your heart and keep you going into a new day, at least. Okay, so this is the wife of the lady of the guy who wrote the book thing. Question. Door with lock. Oh, shit. Hang on. We gotta go back. No. Can I not go back? Was it like 723? Or 1723? You're gonna need to help me. You're gonna have to help me. 1 9. This is 4. 1 4 7. I'm so bad at puzzle games. Yeah. What is this though? Is this a 4? I'm sorry, it's not your game, it's me. When I am confronted with a puzzle, I shut down. That's a clock. Indeed it is a clock. The combination is 3 numbers long. That's roughly 5 o'clock. So 1 5 7. That clock is not one of the clues. It's not. Okay, 1. Sun. Letter. Oh, 3. 1 3. Oh, thank God. God. Shock. He's thinking about it. Painting / window. If I'm in window / painting, I die. Oh no, if I go into the light, I die. No. So he's in the elevator? Waiting. Now he doesn't seem so happy. So I can deny to go to the sun? I can't. Sad. Waiting. Oh no, what happened? I think I misunderstood the ending. Oh, did they not display well? That was a final. Oh yeah, I figured it was the final choice, the X and the green. I interpreted it as the decision as to whether or not to take the elevator up or not take the elevator up, or conversely to open the elevator door and it was already at the top. As this takes place 10 minutes before sunrise when the machine activated. Oh, right. Yeah, that also makes sense that it would be set at this time. Man, you guys did so much better on time than I did. Mine was terrible. That's not an elevator. That's the time. That's the machine. Oh, the machine. Okay. I think I may have misunderstood some things. But I felt many things while I was playing it, but I think I misunderstood some things. So help me out a little bit. Can you give me like a 1-sentence synopsis of the story? Because I mean, understandably, it would be super difficult to try and tell an entire, like to tell a narrative with no text. So, I mean, I think it'd be hard if you had, professional face actors that you were taking pictures of. So I applaud you on that. But I think I misunderstood something. I mean, I understand that the machine was going to... What was the machine going to do? Let me try this again. Sad boy. Thinks about things. Wants to see sun. Question. Have an idea in the tower. The no text aspect is super impressive. I also really like the kind of adventure game slideshow sort of thing. The blob wants to see the light, but then finds out the sun won't rise unless the machine makes the sun rise, killing the blob. Oh God, no wonder I felt so sad at the end. So the blob has to sacrifice himself in order for the sun to rise? Is that what I'm understanding? Little blob goes up tower, discovers machine that froze time, realizes that if time is unfrozen and sun rises, it'll die. Yeah, but... Oh, it's so sad. And to add even more sad vibes, the blob wanted to see the sunrise. That's why it was walking around outside. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's like the dreadful irony, right? This is awesome. This is really good. Sun, die. Ah. Go up. I hate waiting. No. I can't do it. I can't. This is awesome. This is great. That was awesome. That was really, really good. Yeah, that was like the dreaded irony. I mean, once again, I think it was more of a full scene than it was, or a full story than it was a one scene. But I still really liked it in terms of like what it accomplished. I think the game itself is impressive. Yeah, it's sad. It definitely made me feel sad. Because like it sucks when the one thing that you want to do is the one thing you can't do, right? And this just like takes that dial and turns it up to 11, right? It's like you are always going to feel bad for a character that's like the one thing that they want to do is drive, but the only thing they can't do is drive because there's no cars or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it is an immediate way to make somebody sympathetic. Dream card doesn't disappoint. Seeing everyone's game so far is interesting, but I got to go to class. All right, Two Links, you have a good class. No matter what you choose, the little blob loses something. I know, it's brutal because he seems like such a nice little guy. He seems so, like what did he do? He's got to either die or not see the sun. Both of which are things he wants. It reminds me of a Ray Bradbury short story. Should read it. It's really good. I forget the title of it. It won't be hard to find though. It's a short story about a little girl who's on a space station, and the space station is going to fly by the sun, and they're going to open the doors, and she's so excited to see the sun. She's so excited to see it, and they open the doors. And the mean kids in her school, they grab her and they run her back and they throw her in a closet and they lock the door so she doesn't get to see it. It's like, ugh. It's such a heartbreaking story. Oh, that reminds me of the story where the kid's on Mars where it's constantly raining gets to see the sun once. That's the one. It was on Mars, but it was constantly raining. Are you referring to another Ray Bradbury story or just another story? They yeeted her in the closet and then she never got... They yeeted her. That's what that reminded me of, right? I mean, I would absolutely say that that's, that the story is kind of accomplishing really similar emotions. The only difference is that the blob has like kind of a... an impossible choice. Yep, they yeeted her heart. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's try and get another one in before I gotta head out. because I've already been going for, well, we're okay. Let's see, who is here? Someone needed to heckin' yeet those mean kids into the sun. Agreed. Yeah, we'll do Toaster, absolutely. We will definitely do Toaster Strudel. Dude, that story is... God, I'm just thinking about it now. I love Ray Bradbury, though. Ray Bradbury is the reason why I write. Like, no doubt in my mind. I read Martian Chronicles when I was like 13 or 12 or something, and from that, after I read that, I was like, I'm never not gonna want to do anything else. Where is yours, Toaster? Did I pass it? Oh no, yours has the no picture. Entropy of royalty. I look forward to seeing how many scenes I accidentally worked into mine. I think a lot of people, it's just normal, because it's so hard for us to understand. It's so hard to understand that as an exercise, I just need you to sit down and, with no context, write emotionally, right? I mean, that's ultimately what my scene assignment is sit down and write emotionally. Don't build a whole world in your mind. I mean, that's what I did, right? And my game got torched narratively. Like my game was torched narratively. Everybody thought it was like one of the worst narratives. They ranked it like toward the bottom. And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, I knew that was going to be the case. I expected that, because my scene can't be that good, because it doesn't, I'm not jamming in all the context, right? But I think as far as a scene goes, it's a very accomplished scene, right? Does that make sense? Because scenes don't exist in a vacuum. Scenes are reliant on other scenes. They're reliant on all the other information that happens in a story, right? The causality of narrative. And so when you try to jam all that stuff in, you can pull it off, but you're writing a short story. You're not writing a scene, if that makes sense. That's fine. Like, a great movie scene with no context is kind of bad. Exactly. Right. Like, if you just pull up a scene, you're like, oh my God, you have to see this. You have got to see this movie. It is incredible. Let me show you the scene from the bar. And then it's just like a bar scene where the guy goes in and he's like happy, hunky dory. And then he gets in a fight and he leaves and he's like bloody. People would be like, what? What does that mean? And you're like, well, no, I mean, it's you have to see the whole movie. Yeah. I wanted to make I wanted to make a picture for this one, but I didn't find the time to. I thought it was a pretty solid narrative as far as a single scene is concerned. Yeah, I mean, it just didn't show up in the results, which is fine. I mean, it's not like I was like, oh, darn it, I didn't win. I didn't want to win, but I did find it interesting that it was ranked among the of 50 ratings, it was ranked like 7th of 8 entries or something like that. Like taking the one action scene in a slow burn out of context. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like all of the things you guys are saying, they all make perfect sense as to exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, this is exactly what I was hoping people would do, knowing that I don't think anybody can do it, because even when I was in the MFA, there was a bunch of people who were proclaimed really good writers in that room, and I think maybe 2 of us came out of that 3-year program understanding how to write a scene. Maybe 2 of us. For some reason, it doesn't compute with people, and it's so important. But unless you have somebody telling you, you won't know, right? And so I don't want anybody to. Hopefully, nobody's interpreting my critique as like harsh or dismissive or anything. I don't mean it as that. I just mean that, like, I'm looking at these almost like they're math equations, and I'm thinking this equation is not quite. It's just not quite there, right? Like you missed one little operator, or however math works. I don't know. Select weapon that shall be one of the closest friends for the next few moments that meet thine eyes. Graphic verbal descriptions of violence. Sick. All right, let's do Let's do hammer. A humble tool, bludgeon +2 with a blunt show stopping edge. Now pick a set of armor. You will need the assistance I promise you. Plate mail. Nigh impenetrable cast, piercing defense +1. Nigh immovable resolve, cutting defense +2. Corvid. Is it different if you call yourself a really doo-doo writer and you admit you're garbage instead of God's gift to literature? No, it's still an equation. It's still an equation. It doesn't matter. And I don't see. I honestly don't see much of a difference between God's gift to literature and a doo-doo writer. If a doo-doo writer is writing in scene format and God's gift to literature is not, I'm gonna like the doo-doo writer. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna like the doo-doo writer more. It's totally okay. Just a small thing that I had to get. Okay, awesome. I'm not going to say the rest of that sentence out loud. I'm going to play Toaster Struders' game. Thou art ready. You shall be accompanied by the protection of plated armor as you wield thy great hammer. It is now time to dethrone the Lord and set the court in order. Yeah, I love choosing these weapons and armor. Sometimes doo-doo is what you want, especially if it has sincerity. Exactly. Sincerity is like the most important thing to me, right? I'd be gone with you, postmodernism. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of postmodernism. It's so boring. Let's bring in sincerity. Let's get rid of postmodernism and crank in that sincerity. Health +3. The king was dead. The usurper had mashed his horrid noble body into a pulp, never to brandish power over people again. The celebrations were short. A set of guards barged into the throne room when the usurper turned around. This is good. Good prose. Guard 1. One of the guards bore a piercing weapon of sorts whilst being clad in cut-proof armor. The second guard wielded a deep-cutting implement of death whilst being clad in cut-proof armor. Well, good thing I have a fucking hammer. Foul beast cut off postmodernism's legs. Indeed! Upon seeing the horde scene, the guards acted without hesitation. The usurper braved themselves for the first guard. Absolutely. The first guard attack was for naught, as the plate mail of the usurper laid unfazed. However, the plate mail was damaged in the process. The guard's armor deflected the usurper's first attempts at retaliation. The usurper still stood strong. The guard's resolve was unbreakable. The three warriors continued to exchange blows. The clashing was long and arduous, with nary a sign of progress. The guard's vicious strikes continued, eventually carving away some of the usurper's skin, leaving naught but viscera in its place. The usurper's recent wound was of concern. Yeah. I would agree that it was of some concern. Gash those legs and leave naught but viscera in their place. Just as these optimistic thoughts entered their mind, a sensation was felt, a sharp, warm, moist sensation. Looking over, the usurper gazed upon one of the guards having jammed a dagger into one of their guilty hands. The pain was horrid, and the guttural screams were ear-piercing. The usurper struggled to cope with this pain unlike anything they had ever felt. Of course they hadn't. It's harder to shank the king when you don't know what it's like to be shanked yourself. That knife would be the final blow dealt on that fateful night. Why is this one completely different? Probably some CSS thing. It's kind of interesting that this is a fight scene, because a lot of people think that fight scenes are independent of scene structure, right? But it's not true. It's not true. Concern is a valid response. Did I miss 4 games already? Yes. Or this is the 4th, I believe. Or is this the 3rd? This is just the 3rd, right? Oh, wow. You managed to actually get the super rare please just fucking die already ending. I wheezed violently. It's the 3rd. Yeah, so go watch, when this stream is over, go watch the sword fight scene between Dread Pirate Roberts and Inigo Montoya. Go watch that scene. It's on YouTube. You'll find it. Just Dread Pirate Roberts, Inigo Montoya fight scene. Right? I figured since this was my first scene writing a single scene story thing, not a single scene story thing, single scene, just a single scene, not whole story in scene, single scene, one scene, one scene that takes place within a story. Does that make sense? But that scene is excellent. Is an excellent scene because all in one scene. No, just one scene. Not all of the narrative in one scene. Just one scene that is in a narrative. We don't see the rest of the narrative. We just see the one scene. But what's so great about it is that it does just a single scene. Yep. The fight mirrors and mimics scene structure perfectly because at the beginning Inigo Montoya is like smug and Dread Pirate Roberts is like calm, right? But Dread Pirate Roberts isn't the protagonist of the scene, so he doesn't need to change as much as Inigo Montoya. So watch how Inigo Montoya changes over the course of that scene, right? It's brilliant. It's a brilliant scene, and it's a fight scene. Oh, I meant a scene about Mr. C's all in one, I see. Emotionally moving story in one line. My hot dog fell out of the bun directly into the storm drain. All right. Stomping their brutal body, kicking their sides, salting their wounds, putting this blasphemous soul through as much pain as they wished until nary but a hollow husk of a man remained. Health 0. The crisis was over. The mutiny had come to a bloody, lustful end. The janitorial servicers piled inside to repair the damages and remove the bodies. Let it be known that any who wish to destroy the king and take the throne shall become the king, and the new king shall inherit the old king's fate. Beginning emotion. Anticipation of nourishment, ending emotion. No. Yeah, I might have to play this one again because I'm not entirely sure. I didn't really catch the introductory emotion, right? This part kind of felt like me making a character in an RPG, but I could be wrong. So axe or chain. Some of the hardness mental, thou art ready. You shall brandish the companionship of chainmail and the mighty axe in hand. It is now time to dethrone the Lord and set the court in order. Okay. When Dylan reads it, it feels more visceral. Do remember you can full screen the game. Yeah, that probably would help. Okay, so he's ready. That's the entering emotion, right? Readiness. And then at the end, he's dead. Is that kind of how I'm understanding it? Or is it ready to... is it ready to fate sealed kind of thing? Is that like... I was trying to experiment with making a combat system. I see. Yeah, Yeah, dead is not really an emotion. I mean, the no feeling is like, it's kind of hard to qualify that as an emotion. So yeah, I mean, I think the combat system is really cool. I'm just not entirely sure. I think what would be interesting is to see, like one scene on the front of this and one scene on the back of it. We kind of do get a scene on the back of it, but I think it would be interesting to see a scene on the front so that we get a little bit more context, because fight scenes are among the more difficult ones, I would say, to write by themselves. Does that make sense? Like they're very, very hard in terms of, because fight scenes go so quick, right? They're, by their nature, they're fast paced. They're very, there's a lot going on in them. What is that? Oh, it's carrot soup. Okay. Let's see. Do you have any advice? Oh, she's asking Toaster Strudel. I'll let you guys talk about that. I'd say the starting emotion is mania and the ending emotion is maybe serenity. Okay, yeah, that's something I could go with. Yeah, I kind of got that sense as well. I think you should incorporate something skill or memory-based, puzzle-based to spruce up the turn-based mechanics. That way it feels like you are fighting. I think that could be cool too, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how these these combat systems. I'm really interested in Twine as in combat systems. But yeah, so I think that that's about as close as I could get to a scene. It felt more like an interesting attempt at making a combat system in Twine, which I think is interesting, and I hope you iterate on that. But I do think that there's enough of a scene to like, I did feel that, the slight bend behind my heart, right? Like, that's kind of how I know a scene took place, is if I felt an emotion that when I read something, right? Being told that I'm sad, or that the character is sad, does not make me feel sad. But if I feel sadness when I'm reading a scene, then I generally assume that the scene was successful. Yes, they must pass the vibe check. That is true. Okay. So let's move on. Let's do phony. Shit. It's like such a bummer too, is I know that Katon is going to get here like right as I end. And I'm going to be like, I'm so sorry, Katon. You must refresh the web page to play the game. But I don't have to do that, right? Woe is cathartic, indeed. It was definitely driven more by developing the system. I've had this idea laying around for a while, and I figured for this James restriction would be yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. Katon must settle settlers of Katon. Okay, anytime you reply. No worries. How long is this? Because I'm already over my time, and I'm nervous. 10 minutes. It's exactly 10 minutes long. Okay, we can do it. And then I'm sorry, Rinzai, are you good to hang out? Well, I mean, we'll just do it either bonus stream, I'll let everybody know, but either bonus stream or next Thursday. But you can skip the timer if you like. Okay. Wander, yeah. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Wander, yeah. This apartment is nice. Several lofty windows line the walls, letting plenty of natural light filter in. Brand new sheer curtains dance in the breeze. The part of the reason why is because I just want to make sure that I get, especially like the new people who haven't been able to submit yet. Wander, yes. Okay, sick. Brand new sheer curtains dance in the breeze, offering peeks of the street 2 floors below. These walls will make for a lovely home once you finish unpacking anyway. Right now you're alone. You've just returned from a Thai fusion restaurant down the street. Sorry, I don't know why I laughed at that. I have no idea. I don't know. Now you rest on your back on the green suede couch to survey the rest of the room. It feels like there's nothing to do but wait. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, it's just Thai fusion. I don't know. Like I just suddenly I was in California. Cardboard boxes sealed with clear tape are stacked haphazardly on the floor, some with room labels like bathroom and bedroom. A smaller box next to the couch is open, and at the top of its contents sits an owl clock. Its eyes look left to right in rhythm with the ticking seconds. Though unfurnished, this room is brimming with possibility. I gotta show you guys a game after I finish this one. It does fuse Thai and fusion. That's true. Because this is already kind of reminding me of this other game I played on Itch that y'all should play. It's super cool. It's a great game. Great little game. Oh shit. A scratched carpet strip draws the only, sorry. Oh, oops. There is no way I'm going to be able to read out loud. No way with that sound. Living room carpet and the black kitchen tile. The tile could use a sweep, but the counter is clean, occupied by a microwave oven and a smartphone. You get a pang of anxiety when you look at the phone, but you will try not to dwell on it and instead focus on something else. The other rooms of the apartment are mostly vacant, save for some larger furniture like the bed and the office desk. All of the gaming consoles and televisions are still in boxes. Cable and internet aren't hooked up yet. You're unoccupied and itching to start unpacking. Okay, so restless. And making this place look like the dream you both wanted, but it's a big job for one person. She'll be home eventually. Guess there's some time to kill. Unpack some furniture. Oh my god, I went down to 7 minutes. Maybe unpacking one small box wouldn't hurt. You don't know how long you'll be waiting for help after all, and the boredom is becoming a bit unbearable. You tackle the small unopened box next to the couch. It contains mostly wall decorations. You remove the owl clock first and set it on the couch. The owl clock is really cool. I'm tracking in my mind. I'm thinking of it as an objective correlative. We'll see. It contains mostly wall decorations. You remove the owl clock first and set it on the couch. As eyes swing, what remains of the box are several framed accolades. 3 packages of adhesive wall hooks and a nude painting from one of your college classes. One by one, you hang them on the beige walls in the living room. Only a single adhesive hook remains when you reach the painting at the bottom of the box. You figure the hook will probably hold. Besides, it's a good spot for the painting. About 2 minutes have passed. Now the walls look less dreary. Despite the boxes strewn across the bare carpet, the place already feels more prepared to offer warmth and comfort to its occupants. Examine the fridge. This fridge came with the apartment. Well, that's something I learned about Germany recently. You have to buy your own kitchen when you move to a place. That sound does rack nerves. I agree. The fridge came with the apartment, and it shows its age in its dusty white color. It's one of the models that has the freezer compartment closer to the floor. Some magnetic clips cling to the door, one holding the I'm just going to say real quick, I really appreciate the simplicity of the prose. I think that simplistic prose is totally underrated. Totally underrated. I think it is the shit. I am all about simplistic prose. I write simplistic prose constantly. So I'm just saying, from one simplistic prose writer to another simplistic prose writer, thank you. I could see this so perfectly. It's one of those models that has the freezer compartment closer to the floor. I know exactly what fridge you're talking about. You know what I mean? I like the fancy schmancy prose too, don't get me wrong, but I'm a simplistic prose writer and I'm glad to see other people are too. Some magnetic clips cling to the door, one holding the menu to a local Thai fusion restaurant, and another with a post-it note that has something scribbled on it. You didn't put that there. On the counter opposite to the fridge, the phone sits. You aren't looking at it, but you know it's there. Open the fridge. There's nothing inside it yet. All the food you two bought is in the ice chest in the car. You ate some pad ki mao from the restaurant about half an hour ago. So you're not hungry. You close the fridge door. That'd be funny to open the fridge again, but I'm not going to. Pick up the phone. It's face down. Oh, this is cool. Sometimes simpler is better. Some things don't need detail. I mean, I think that it was quite detailed. It was just simplistic in the way that it delivered its detail, right? Like I would say that it's a refrigerator whose freezer was closer to the floor, right? That's mightily detailed for a refrigerator. Because most of the time refrigerators are absolutely have nothing to do with narratives, right? But it does just enough in a really economical space, right? Like I kind of get the sense that, I mean, at least for me, I associate the freezer refrigerators with more expensive places, right? So I imagine this place is a little ritzier, right? And it's a way to do it in a very like, oh shit. I forgot about the timer. It's face down on the counter. The rose gold exterior lacks the protection of a phone case. You slide the phone off the counter. It sits comfortably in your palm. You're not sure why it was left here nor for how long. It feels cold to the touch. Look at the home screen. This is exactly how it would go if my wife was coming home and I was supposed to be unpacking stuff. It would be me just musing about nonsense, and then I didn't get anything done. You unlock the phone. Your cat, Pizza Paws, is the home screen background. He couldn't move with you, but he's safe and happy at your uncle-in-law's house for now. Check the messages. There are only a few conversations. This is really cool, by the way. I really love the incorporation of the phone Like I would love to see that in more fiction. I was about to say the same. Yeah. Um, this My apartment's within walking distance anyway. Good. Same time next weekend. Right on. Oh, he's been cheated on. Scroll to the top. Omegle. Oh my god. I haven't heard that in like 10 years. This is terrible. I love games where you go through someone's phone, and this is a prototype for that kind of game. Terrible. Ooh. Terrible. Franklin. Okay, I don't need to see anything else. I can put down the phone. Perhaps out of guilt, you return the phone to the home screen and place it back down on the counter face down as you had found it. Look around the room. Privacy raiders. You stretch out on the couch, the only piece of furniture in a living room otherwise filled with boxes. Around you, the walls are adorned with personal items, so the place feels a little more like home. The owl clock hangs above the green suede couch. You try to ignore it, but you see the phone on the counter in your peripheral vision. There is still time to kill. This is fucking sick. This is really cool. Doxing simulator. This is super cool. Like the owl clock was such a fascinating objective correlative. Cathartic in his Dylan, yes. Almost done. Yeah, I don't even know if there's much else that I would need to do. Like I'm just gonna kind of let the timer run out and talk about it because. So what exactly is the photos? Sorry. Oh, I have 20 seconds left. Recently deleted photos. Oh my god, I have 10 seconds left. Hidden photos. This game is brilliant. This is brilliant. This is super cool. This is exactly what I've been talking about. The front door opens and a blonde-haired woman steps through the door. She notices her rose-gold smartphone in your hand. She glares at you and scoffs her. Your tongue feels thick. You've been caught red-handed, but you're not the only guilty party in the room. She may look mad, but you're pissed. You read the text between her and the mystery person she met up with. You say, "Why would you do this to me?" She doesn't respond. You can see tears starting to form in her eyes. You leave. She steps out of your way as you reach for the door. She doesn't try to explain herself or stop you. You're halfway down the stairs when you notice that you've still got the phone in a white-knuckled hand. You toss it down the rest of the stairs. Its screen shatters long before it runs out of stairs to bounce down. That's good. That's a good line. When it finally comes to rest, it crunches under your foot as you walk past it. Maybe you've ruined your best relationship. Nah. And the chance at a beautiful home that you could have had here, or maybe you dodged a bullet. Only time will tell. You leave the apartment building alone. I mean, it's a sad-ass ending, but it's good. It's a great scene. I think this is great. I think it's awesome. None of the playtesters let it go out. I gotta do it. I mean, it helped that I also was like ranting and musing for minutes at a time. Yeah, that was cool because the thing that, and we can talk about this more, but the thing that was really, really, really cool about that to me was that we were actually using ludic text to convey emotion, right? Like, I knew where the phone was. I was thinking about the phone. I was thinking about the clock. And as I was kind of moving around in the room following text prompts, um, and like the phone existed as its own entity in the game world that I could return to. And and then it ended up paying off in a way that it would pay off in a narrative, right? So like if you were to imagine this story in like a short story or in a novel or whatever, it would be the scene opens with the character excited to get the packing undone, right? They come across the phone, they open it, they look, they see a weird message, they go, "Oh, Meagle, what the fuck?" And then they close the phone, and now they're nervous, right? And they're walking around, they're pacing, they don't know why. They have to return to the phone. They feel compelled, right? The gameplay compels the player to move back to the phone. They open the phone, they look at it, they go to the pictures, and then the best line there was, "Yep, you should have seen this coming," right? You should have seen this coming. It was awesome. That was great. That was super great. See you later, Toaster Shooter. Yeah, I've got to go. So I'm gonna link the game that I was thinking of, but this blew that game out of the water. So in terms of like narrative structure, I think it's far better. That was supposed to be a joke line, but I love your interpretation. No, it's brilliant. It's awesome. This is the thing that I'm talking about every single week, is like the ludic text can make the narrative text stronger if you're considering it as ludic text, right? If you consider play as text, you can make your narrative stronger. And I think that was a perfect example of that. So great job. I think that was awesome. I can see why that won. why that won the jam. So yeah, great job. I'm super glad I let you submit it late. Holy hell. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll get to the rest of them next week. I'll announce if it's going to be either a bonus stream or if it's going to be a. Oh, you're fine. It makes a lot more sense if you're playing it, like not streaming it. You know what I mean? I think that you made the right choice in terms of for the majority of the players. So next week we will do Erbium Raider, Monochrome, and Acheron the Dreamer. And I think I'll fly through mine real quick just so I can talk about it a little bit, but talk about like what I was thinking as I was writing the scene. But yeah, other than that, I'll just see you guys. I'll see everyone in the Discord. And Porker, please. Oh, did I not say Porker? Yeah, we're definitely doing that. Don't worry. Did I not say it? I think I said the last days, or maybe the last days. Yeah, we will definitely do it. Don't worry. I'm very excited. This is classic Renzai. I mean, look at it. Classic. I'm super excited. It actually has like a really good comment too. All right, I'm gonna head out. So I will talk to everybody later. Goodbye.